Hello everybody, it's Amell, and today I'm going to show you how to solve the implement queue using stacks problem. So implement the following operations of a queue using stacks. Push X, push element X to the back of queue. Pop, removes the element from in front of queue. Pick, get the front element. Empty, return whether the queue is empty. For example, my queue Q gets a value new my queue that push 1, queue that push 2, queue that pick returns 1. That was the first element. Queue that pop returns 1. And now queue that empty returns false because there's still the 2 there. So you can see that here it says that you may assume that all operations are valid. For example, no pop or pick operations will be called on an empty queue. So we don't have to take care of handling an empty case here when we're popping or picking the queue. So how can we solve this problem? As you know, the queue has the FIFO property, first in, first out. The stack has the LIFO property, last in, first out. So they have opposite properties. So in order to achieve the FIFO property using stacks, we have to reverse the stack. So when we push from one stack to another stack, then we reverse the stacks, and that's going to allow us to get a FIFO property. So we can use two stacks, stack newest and stack oldest. Whenever we have a new element and we push the element to the queue, what we do is that we push to stack newest. When we want to pop from the queue, we check if stack oldest is empty, then we have to push all the elements from stack newest to stack oldest. That's going to reverse the elements, and then we pop from stack oldest, and that's going to allow us to get the FIFO order, the first in, first out order. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to write the code. So first I'm going to have a stack. So I'm going to have a stack of integer stack newest stack of integer stack oldest, and these are references, so I have to initialize them in the constructor. I'm gonna do that in the constructor. Stack newest gets the value of new, stack of integer, stack oldest gets the value of new, stack of integer. So as I said, whenever I have a new element, I'm going to push that element to stack newest. Stack newest that push X. Then whenever I want to pop or whenever I want to pick, I want to do that from stack oldest. But before that, I want to check if stack oldest is empty. Then I have to put all the elements from stack newest to stack oldest. So I'm going to have a helper method for that. So down here I'm going to have a private void shift stacks. I'm going to check if stack oldest that is empty. Then I want to push all the elements from stack newest to stack oldest, while not stack newest that is empty. I'm going to say stack oldest that push stack newest that pop. And this is going to allow me to have the elements in reversed order to get a FIFO property using the stack oldest, and it's going to check if I have to do that. So before I pop, I say shift stacks, and then I can say return stack oldest that pop. And notice here that I'm not checking if the queue is empty, because it says here that you may assume that all operations are valid. No pop or pick operations will be called on an empty queue. So you can point that out in your interview, or you can actually check if the queue is empty. You can throw an exception. You can throw an exception to indicate that the queue is empty if they're trying to pop from an empty queue. Also, if they're trying to pick from an empty queue, you can also throw an exception. In this case, you don't have to, because you may assume that all operations are valid. So Now if you want to pick, you first shift stacks to make sure that there's something in stack oldest, and then you return stack oldest that pick. Now public boolean empty returns whether the queue is empty. So you know if the queue is empty if both stacks are empty. So return stack newest that is empty and stack oldest that is empty. Alright, so this should do it. I'm gonna run the code. It seems to be working fine. Submit the solution. Okay, 51 milliseconds faster than 98.98% of Java Online submissions for implement queue using stacks. So this is working perfectly. Please press the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and see you next time.